So I tend to use an object like this freehand, but one thing that's beautiful about this is that it actually has a guide. So if you're a beginner, which we all start out as beginners, which I was before I started doing this kind of thing, you line it up with the guide and that gives you the correct angle, and then you draw it down while maintaining that angle across the surface of the sharpener. But since, as I've said, I do this freehand, I'm just going to show you how I do it. So I just did 10 swipes on either side of the rough. Now I'm going to do alternating swipes on the smooth side just to polish that edge a little bit further. So that was just 20, 10 per each side. And then something that I like to do, which you don't have to do, is I have a leather strop here, which I've just connected to this old desk bed frame that I had. And this is for polishing straight razors, and it kind of works a very fine edge onto a blade. And so you just run it across the strop. And a tool like this as well, you can put compounds and such on here, very, very fine grits down to micron levels, and bring your edge to just insane levels of sharpness, which, for most purposes, most blades won't keep that edge for more than a few seconds if you're doing something like heavy food prep. But it feels nice to do this. It's sort of meditative, so I have no problems against it. I have some compounds somewhere, but I hardly ever use them. So now, just 2 fingers, same piece of paper. This paper is getting a bit raggedy. I think I'll actually grab a new one. So this all came from the same blade stock as this one, which won't even bite into the paper. And, it doesn't really take a lot of expertise to get the blade to this level. Excuse me. It's another thing about being a stay-home parent, constantly sleep deprived. So a couple more things that I'd like to mention about this device is that when you're sharpening, the belt is slack in here. There's some looseness. So when the blade is being drawn across the surface of the sharpening material, sandpaper, it's actually bending in a little bit. Now what this does is it creates a convex edge. And so instead of just being a straight V edge, which a lot of manufacturers, the factory edge is coming from the factory as a V edge, the convex actually puts about 30% more meat behind the same apex edge. So it's just as sharp as a V edge, however it's very, very strong, similar to a wider angle edge. And so angle is something that I talked about previously, and that's what these guides are for. Different knives come with different angles on the edge, meaning how thin or wide that apex, where that blade meets the working material that you're working with, be it food or wood or whatever you need it for. Now, the wider the edge, meaning that it comes out more and more, the stronger that edge is going to be, meaning you can tackle harder things, wood, cardboard, etc. So a lot of hunting knives, utility knives, something, like my little pocket blade here, that's probably going to have a wider edge on it just so that it maintains that edge for working. Whereas kitchen knives are typically ground to a more acute angle,